Allen Iverson and the Sixers were on the road trying to win their 10th straight game in Sacramento on Monday. Their streak has been achieved against some of the NBA's lightweights, though. But they held their own against the league's third-best team. Iverson leading the scorers with 35 points. A nice three there to put the Sixers 3 points up. But the Kings, Chris Webber came alive in the second half, tied at 81 here. He somehow got the ball back to get the lay-in and the foul. His 29 points would be crucial. The Kings further stretched their lead in the fourth quarter through Bobby Jackson, 18 points from him. And Sacramento saw this one through when Doug Christie stole an inbound pass and scored. The Kings winning by 107 to 99. Sacramento as Philadelphia come to California, riding a 9-game winning streak. Something had to give. We'll have all the action when World Sport returns. Stateside, off-court buddies Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki proved too much for New Jersey to handle on-court.
Jordan banged knees with Vince Carter. Jordan went at the lead of the game with back spasms after scoring only 4 points of the night. As for Carter, he put 20 more on the board than MJ, 24 for Vince, as the Wizards win this one, 89-86. Also in the NBA Tuesday, New Jersey met Dallas. Steve Nash drains a big three-pointer. Mavs with an early lead. The Nash-Dirk Nowitzki combination worked wonders on this night. Nash, the bullet pass to the big German. He gets the easy hoop. 8 assists for Nash on this night. Dirk draining another 3 there. He had 24 points. Later in the fourth quarter, Nash, the Canadian, does it all by his lonesome. In for the layup. Part of a 24-point night for Nash as well, as the Mavericks win this one, 88-81. 4-game losing skid to Toronto on Wednesday, but if Yao Ming had his way, the streak would be over. Look at Yao stick with it after he misses the initial shot and puts in the easy layup. Little trouble here for the Chinese rookie as Vince Carter misses the floater, but Antonio Davis gets the rebound and he slams it right in Yao's face. This would be a close affair all the way. Fourth quarter. Rockets run the break. Steve Francis to Yao. He throws it down, part of his 21-point nights. Rockets cling to a 2-point lead, a chance for the home team to win. Rashawn Leonard puts up the tough shot. It bounces not once but twice. And the Rockets hold on for the win. Heartbreak for Toronto. Houston is back to its winning ways. A light moment in an otherwise intense NBA affair between Indiana and Los Angeles. Did you see Mark Madsen lose his shoe? He stuck with the shot, though, got the rebound at the other end. Who needs the shoe? Madsen actually took it off and took his sock off as well to get a little more traction on the floor. Kobe Bryant doesn't need traction. He does it from all over. He is the youngest player in NBA history to reach 10,000 career points. He scored 20 on the night. This one came down to the end of regulation. Game tied. The ball is knocked out to Robert Horry, and he cans the jumper as time expires. The Lakers hand the Pacers their 19th road loss of the season. This one in the most painful of ways.
And Kobe shatters yet another milestone in the NBA, this time with a year to spare.
24 points and 10 rebounds to give the side only their 5th win in 19 games. However, Curry almost outdone by teammate Tyson Chandler, who weighed in with 23 points and 14 rebounds. Golden State's Gilbert Arenas was the night's top scorer with 28 points, but that was not enough to improve on the Warriors' 6-game winning streak. The Bulls going on to chalk up only their 22nd win of the season, but it was their highest points total of the campaign. Elsewhere, wins for San Antonio.
Dennis Johnson, this time at the helm of the Clippers, listing Chip and Antoine Walker to Tony Battie, and Celtics kept that ship a listing. Clippers tried to get it going in the opening half. Lamar Odom breaks down court, the nice dribbling. He goes coast to coast for the layup, and the Clippers are actually on top by 2. In the second half, though, Boston's J.R. Bremer caught fire. Look at him swish the 3 from the top of the key. A little later, he takes the handoff and cuts in for the lay-in. Bremer had a career-high 25 points, Celtics by 9. But strange doings at the end of the third period. The Celtics cleared their bench. Clippers were also seen with towels over their nose. It was believed that perhaps a can of pepper spray was dropped behind the bench area. The game was held up for 9 minutes as the air was cleared, and then the Celtics finished what they started. Walker burying the three. That sealed the deal as the Celts win this one on a strange night in Beantown. After enduring a week of pain from sore leg and back spasms, Michael Jordan pressed on as his Washington Wizards hosted Milwaukee. Jordan, 27 points, 9 rebounds, a pair of assists, but he couldn't do it all on this night. Time winding down, his team falls short by 3 as Jordan's three-pointer attempts just doesn't go. Bucks win this one on the road. The Los Angeles Lakers were at home against Minnesota. This a big night for Shaq. Watch him pull down one of his 14 rebounds and put back 2 plus the foul with authority. Shaq then makes the pretty move underneath in the fourth period. Look at the pretty finger roll. Part of a 40-point night for the big man as LA has now won 8 of their last 9. And the Timberwolves go for the last shot. Troy Hudson launches one from beyond half court, and it goes. As you saw, the Wolves failed to win the game, but Troy Hudson comes away with the long-distance play of the day.
Minnesota Timberwolves, and guess who were their top scorers? That's right, Kobe Bryant with a slam here, and Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq with a huge night, 40 points for him, a season high, gets the shot to go here, and the foul as well. It's nearly impossible to stop the big man down low. Kobe doing what he does best. He had 30 as the big two for the Lakers combined for 70 points. The Timberwolves tried to stay close, but Kobe and Shaq were just too much for them to handle. Shaq with a pretty move underneath, gets the finger roll to go. A little touch from the big man. Lakers win it by 10.
Coach Isaiah Thomas, none too happy Saturday as his Pacers met Portland at NBA play. He wouldn't be happy from the early going. Rasheed Wallace starts out on fire as he throws down the putback jumper, and the Blazers would be blazing in the second half. Already up by 14. Dale Davis on the receiving end of this alley-oop pass. More from Wallace in the fourth period. He knocks down 3 of his 23 on the night as Portland hands Indiana their 9th loss out of their last 10 games and their 8th straight road defeat.
Appearance in New York. Back then, his game was definitely played above the rim. Jordan, of course, playing for Chicago back then as well. He's playing with the Wizards these days. Well, a lot has changed since then, although he was still stellar on Sunday, scoring 26 points in the first half. MJ was just unstoppable, gets the jumper and the foul, and then knocks down another fall-away jumper. The Knicks were still leading by 7. The Knicks had a sharpshooter as well, and that's Allen Houston, finished with 28 points. Jordan would keep Washington in it in the fourth quarter, bringing the ball up, stops, and buries the jumper. He had 39 points, 8 rebounds. And remember, he's 40 years old. But in the end, it was just too much from the Knicks. Shannon Anderson sealing it. The Knicks holding on to win by 1. The New Jersey Nets had one of their worst games in franchise history on Saturday night as they took on Houston. They scored 24 points in the first half, and Houston took full advantage. They were up 20 at the break. Coutinho Mobley with 18 in this game. Steve Francis blowing past Kenyon Martin for a one-handed jam. This game was never really close. Kenyon Martin going up to try to get some revenge, but there's Yao Ming with one of his 4 blocks in the game. Yao also shows his passing ability. Check out the hook pass to Steve Francis, who elevates for the jam. Byron Scott and his Nets have now lost 4 straight, 7 out of their last 8.
For the Pistons against the Warriors, but they turned around a 6-point deficit in the last 2 minutes, and Chauncey Billups just beat the buzzer with that 3-pointer to steal the victory. A dramatic late winner for our World Sport Play of the Day. Barnett and the Minnesota T-Wolves look to lasso the Mavericks in Dallas. Highlights when World Sport returns. double-double of the season, and he began explosively to put Minnesota into a 13-point lead in the first quarter. In fact, their aggressive style meant they led by double digits for most of the first half. Garnett had 31 points and a whopping 18 rebounds. Now, it's not the first time that Dallas have started slowly against one of the big teams. They usually rely on a strong fight back, and Dirk Nowitzki kept them in this one. The big German led the scoring with 37 points and 13 rebounds. They managed to get level with the T-Wolves in the fourth quarter. A three from Nowitzki, and Michael Finley did his bit with a double-double too. 17 points and 13 rebounds to tie the scores up at 71 points each. 5 minutes left at that stage, but Minnesota pulled away again with a big show from Wally Szczerbiak. He shot 20 of his 27 points in the last 5.5 minutes to give Minnesota the win, and that's the Mavs' 6th home defeat of the season.
With 31 points and 18 rebounds as the visitors ran up an early lead in the first quarter. The Mavs' Dirk Nowitzki continues to put in impressive performances for the league's top-scoring team. He netted 38 on the night as Dallas came within a point of their guests with 3 minutes.
During the narrowest of victories, and frankly, he needed it. Despite scoring 23 points, Jordan turned the ball over a career-worst 9 times, but Washington held on for a 1-point win, which helps them chase the Milwaukee Bucks for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Kobe Bryant's average just keeps going up and up. Once again, he led the Lakers with 36 points against the Chicago Bulls, but it wasn't enough. Jamal Crawford hit a career-best 24 points and dished out 10 assists as they upstaged the 3-time defending champions by 17 points. Here's a
seconds of the first half, Knicks by 1. Charlie Ward heaves the inbound pass upfield. Shane Battier intercepts. Tries to get off a last-minute shot, nails it, draws the foul, and also a 4-point play. Grizzlies by 3. Howard Isley now knocking down the spot-up 3 to tie the game at 83 apiece. Final seconds of regulation, 85 all. Grizzlies' Jason Williams working against Isley, looking for space, and buries the game-winning jumper. 87-85 Grizzlies, it ended. Ball with under 10 seconds to play, and with 1 second left, Matt Crenshaw comes up with a huge jumper to nail the victory and give the Jaguars a place in the NCAA tournament for the first time in the school's history, which clearly pleased their coach, Ron Hunter. That's what sport is all about. Good to go for our World Sports Play of the Day.
His team were in for a bad night. They were up 11 in the first, though. Shaq managed 24 points and 13 rebounds, and a wayward Kobe Bryant scored 21. That tip put the Lakers up by 3 in the second, but they hadn't counted on a season-best performance from Chauncey Billups. He tied his best score of 33 with 3-pointers like that. It was still tied in the third, though. Rick Fox played in Shaq for an alley-oop to give the Lakers a 2-point advantage. But the decisive spell came in the fourth period when the Pistons scored 10 unanswered points to blow the game wide open. And Ben Wallace helped complete an historic night for Detroit. 10 points and 21 rebounds from him as they also broke a 3-game losing streak, beating LA by 23 points.
The Seattle Supersonics look to snap a 3-game losing streak against the league-leading Dallas Mavericks, tying it up at 72 apiece through Ray Allen's jumper. Fourth quarter, Mavs down 3. Dirk Nowitzki gets a generous bounce on the 3-pointer. We're all square yet again. Later in the fourth, Mavs down 2. Nick Van Exel, go-to guy this time, hits the jumper, and we're tied once again. And with less than a minute left, the Sonics would seal it. Rashard Lewis drives past Nowitzki, throws it down hard. 107-100 Sonics, it ended. Left when Purvis Pascoe makes the apparent game-winning steal, but he doesn't realise there's time left and gets called for travelling as he celebrates, giving Colorado one more chance. And James Wright cashes in, going right off the glass for an amazing game winner that's worth a couple of replays. Embarrassment for Pascoe, anguish for Kansas State, euphoria for Colorado, and a play of the...
Where Michael Jordan and the Washington Wizards are hoping to claim the final playoff spot in the East, and a win over the Pistons in Detroit would help. A basketball oddity in the first quarter. Off the turnover, Chauncey Billups out in front for the fast break lay-in. but he's fouled, rips off the net of the rim. Later in the first quarter, Jordan drives baseline for the lay-in. That's 2 of his 15 points. But the night belonged to a former Wizard, Ben Wallace. He'd missed the lay-in, but get his own rebound and slams it home. He had 17 points and 24 rebounds on the night, 54-39 to the Pistons. Phillips also having a good game. He knocks down the 3 and then drains another one. He had 25 points on the day. The Pistons win by 10. The Wizards still 1 game behind Milwaukee for the final playoff spots. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks were in California playing Golden State, and the Mavs had to do without German star Dirk Nowitzki, who sprained his ankle at the end of the first half and wouldn't return. It's not thought to be a major injury, though. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Dallas up by 1. Warriors Gilbert Arenas nails the jumper to put the Warriors up by 1. Tied at 99 now, and Arenas buries a 3 to put the Warriors up by 3. It was end-to-end stuff. Later in the fourth quarter, we're tied at 114. Mavericks Eduardo Nahara sinks a baseline jumper to put the Mavs up by 2. And late in the fourth quarter, Dallas still up by 2. And Warriors Arenas to win it. But he misses the 3 at the buzzer. And the Mavericks go on to win by 2.
Kings face the Toronto Raptors, seeking their 8th home win of the season. Doug Christie with a reverse slam, 10-5 Kings. Second quarter, more Kings. Jim Jackson gets the steal, finds Chris Webber. He slams it home, Kings by 11. Third quarter, Kings dominating. Webber finds Predrag Stojakovic with a long pass. He does the rest. And the Kings would seal the deal not long after. Webber with a fancy dribble finds Vlade Divac. And it's a done deal. 119-84 Kings it ended. We're back.
Cavaliers, knowing he was just 3 away from Johnson's tally. But the game would also be remembered for the performance of this man, Cleveland's guard, Ricky Davis. More on him later. The Cavs managed to halt a 6-game losing streak with a convincing win here. They were 18 points ahead after that slam in the third. But this was the big moment for Utah's Jackson. A pass to Andrei Kirilenko in the fourth tied him up with Johnson for all-time assists. And later, in that quarter, he dished it to Calvert Cheney, who scored from the corner to ensure Jackson's place in the record books. But sadly for Jackson, his big moment was denied him by the antics of Mr. Davis. That's basket, one of 28 points for him. And he was just 1 rebound off his first ever triple-double. So, rather unsportingly, he deliberately shot wide of his own basket in an attempt to claim the ball. But everyone was wise to it. Utah's coach, Jerry Sloan in particular, took offense, saying Davis was trying to humiliate them. Anyway, he was fouled by Deshaun Stevenson for his trouble, and the NBA didn't award him the triple-double either. Elsewhere, Yao Ming led his Rockets to a crucial win over the Phoenix Suns. The huge Chinese rookie scored 20 points in the battle for 8th place in the West. As a result, the Rockets improved their winning streak to 5 games, their best in 3 seasons. Not so good for Phoenix, though. The Suns have lost 3 of their last 4.
Nailed 6 shots from downtown. Does it in the second quarter and then does it again in the third. Some good ball movement by the Knicks. And they'll find their man. And when he's hot, it's hard to stop him, even with a man in his face. Houston sitting on 48 points in the fourth quarter until he hits the tough J. He was good from the field, 13 of 25. The Knicks won it by 9. From one barrel right over the reeling Pacers, does Indiana have an answer, though? Stay tuned.
The suspension for the Pacers, but he and his teammates could only watch as Portland blazed an early trail led by Ruben Patterson. Damon Stoudemire found his teammate for an alley-oop slam in the first quarter, and that was shortly followed by this move, which played in Patterson for a huge slam. 15 points from him, Portland led by 8. A good night for Jermaine O'Neal. He finished with a double-double, 31 points and 12 rebounds, and he went in over the 7'3" Arvydas Sabonis to lead a fight back. 12 points behind here, but by the time Artest landed 3 of his 16 points here in the fourth quarter. The gap was down to just 1. But the Blazers pulled away to snap a 2-game losing streak, and they really shared their points out in this one. Sabonis leading them with 16. Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic star forward Grant Hill is to have another operation on his troublesome left ankle. The 6-time All-Star injured it initially when he was with Detroit, and 3 subsequent operations have failed to ease the pain caused by the stress fracture. Hill has missed almost 200 games since joining the Magic for $93 million, and he's been out since January. And Houston's coach, Rudy Tomjanovich, has been in hospital too. He underwent a biopsy on his bladder and remained in hospital overnight for observation. Assistant coach Larry Smith is in charge during his absence, and Tomjanovich is expected to return sometime during their current 5-game road trip. The Rockets are battling with Phoenix for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. St. Patrick's Day celebrations in Phoenix, where the Suns really couldn't afford to lose to the Toronto Raptors. We're in the third quarter with the clock winding down, and Morris Peterson drains a desperate 3 to put the Raptors 12 points up. But the Suns came back, and thanks due in no small part to Sean Marion, Joe Johnson picked him out, and Marion made it with a monster slam. The Suns led with just 2 seconds left, but Voshon Leonard drove the lane and got the lay-in to tie it up and force overtime. But Marion was the difference here, scoring 5 of his 30 in overtime to give the Suns victory by just 4 points. Baylor is the Clippers' general manager and a Lakers Hall of Famer, but once again he watched his former side take the prize. That's despite leading for most of the first half. And they were still in front here in the third when Eric Piatowski sunk a long jumper. The Lakers head coach Phil Jackson not impressed. But they came back, led of course by Shaquille O'Neal. He scored 29 of a season-high 42 points in the second half. The big man running through his full repertoire for you here to help towards an amazing statistic. The Lakers have now won 23 of the last 25 meetings against their city rivals, including all 4 games at Staples this season. And the Lakers wrap this one up by 17 points. Kareem Rush going in with a 2-handed slam. Everyone's minds as the red-hot Rockets took on Seattle on Tuesday. Houston had won 5 on the spin before the trip to the West Coast, but Seattle had their number. They won their 3rd game in 4, thanks in part to Ray Allen, who scored 23 points and claimed 7 assists. At this stage, the home team led by 3 points, and it was close pretty much throughout. The Rockets guard, Steve Francis, matched Lewis for points, and he tied it up with this lay-in in the third quarter at 58 all. But Rashard Lewis has been on fire for Seattle recently. The leading scorer in their last 3 games now landed 25 in this one. He and Allen helped open up a big margin in the 4th, and a Jerome James slam right over the head of Yao Ming capped the victory by 100 points to 9.